Yeah, I think offensively it makes it a little bit more difficult. We got to get creative. We got to figure out who can get us into offense. We got to figure out what actions we can run. And we're gonna have to do the same thing defensively. Honestly, and from a rotation standpoint. But that's what we do. That's our job, right? Like we got to figure it out. We've got to get creative on both ends of the floor. But DB's absolutely right. I think so many times, and you've seen it really throughout the course of early in the season, is just like unsure, hesitant on coming to the ball, moving without the ball. Am I passing it or am I not passing it? Instead of really letting it flow. Part of that's still getting to know one another. I think part of that is understanding what to get, which actions we're trying to get in the system. We got to simplify in a big way. And then we got to continue to build and grow. Look, there's no question, we're hitting adversity right now. Like it's challenging. And it's still a great opportunity for us because it's not going to be perfect. It's early enough in the season that we've got a chance to really, I think, find a gut check moment, right? And who we're going to be through adversity. And now other players are playing with the ball in their hands, trying to get us into offense. So part of that's just experience and not being in that role before necessarily. For a long period of time. I mean, everybody is for a short period of time. And then I think the other part of it is just a little bit of hesitancy, coming to the ball, cutting away from the ball, reads, trying to find mismatches, sometimes overthinking. But again, I think some of that is just, we were down another point guard and lots of different players are playing out of position, so to speak.
It's hard when you keep losing people. You try to piece it together, and we came in with a one game plan. Then you lose your other point guard, so you got to pivot on the fly. And we're a new team at that, so we got all these new pieces. So we were still trying to figure out when we had CC and Sid. Then you lose those two pieces, then you kind of gotta you lose CC, we regroup. Then you lose Sid, then you have to regroup. So just trying to stay together and stay positive, and get through the storm right now. We're being tested right now, and we got to depend on each other and use each other for energy right now. The worst thing you can do is kind of fall apart and go your separate ways at that point. You just got to try to find a way to win, a will to win, go deep, dig deep, and that's what we kind of did. And we almost pulled it out. That would have been kind of cool to, put the stamp on it, but I think more than anything, better than a win, we still showed that we're going to continue to fight right now.
We've seen this time and time again in our league, right? Like nobody feels sorry for you. We can't feel sorry for ourselves. We just have to figure it out. We've got to make sure that while it might look different, we've got to have fewer moments of breakdowns on the defensive end. We got to have fewer moments of a flurry of turnovers. We've got to have fewer moments where we come out of timeout and not executing. Those are areas we can control. We can't control the injuries. We can't control right now, who's on or off the floor, and we can figure out some different rotations. We can figure out a different way to play, but we also have to be able to control the things that we can control on the floor and still grow in those areas.
It's basketball; those things, kind of happen. Unfortunately, it's happening to us. It's better to happen now than later on in the year. Because we're still so early and we can still, figure it out and adjust to it, because losing bodies like that at the end of the year, it's really hard to adjust, especially when you're in a rhythm. But good thing we're not in a rhythm right now. So still figuring it out. So it's just going back to just keep starting over every day. So that's kind of where we are. But I don't think it's deflated. It's basketball. We know how we can shift our mindset.